of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. With me today in the final episode of Kingdom of Kodiak, Dragonspine's representatives of the Circle of Knights. Guys, thank you so much for coming on today.
Howdy.
Right.
Hello.
We have reoccurring episode members from episode 4, Dame Annabelle Lee. From episode 16, Sir Francis of Ravensholm. From episode 18, Sir Xander the Reaper. And a newcomer, Dame Azrael Jade. Guys, again, thank you so much for coming on, celebrating this 100th episode. Whole bunch of questions from Dragonspine members about how Dragonspine's knighthood is looked at. But first, let's get to the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. All right. There's a giant pool of numbers here, but I'm going to go around the circle. How many years have each of you been playing, and what keeps you in the game? Sir Francis, we'll start with you.
Oh, been playing since 97. That's a long time ago. I don't want to count that high. What keeps me in the game is my friends and my family.
Okay, Xander?
2000. So what year is it? 22? It's 22 years.
Cool. And what keeps you here?
Fighting and friends. Essentially what we do on the weekends.
All right. Azrael Jade?
I think I officially joined in 2000. That's perfectly part of the organization from about 96 on.
Okay.
And what keeps me in the game? We're tired. Ish.
Tired-ish. Okay. And Dame Annabelle Lee.
I also have been in the game since 97. What keeps me in the game is friends and leadership.
So Stillhead's already made the connection. Azrael Jade, nothing. I'm tired.
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Marshawn. Here we go. So Stillhead would like to know if you could each tell us where your persona comes from, and specifically, where did you get your name? And let's go reverse order this time. So Annabelle Lee, if you could, please.
I got my name from an Edgar Allan Poe story. My persona has always just been who I am. I'm the same person on the field as off the field. I have bad attitude. No, I'm just fun.
All right. Azrael Jade?
All right, I saw that.
Well, I've always been into angel mythology and things of that nature. So the Azrael, of course, is the angel of death. And Jade is the name of one of my favorite D&D characters. And I shoved them together because I couldn't decide which one I really wanted to use. And that's where it came from. Most people don't even use my name. They call me Amy. A very select group of individuals who call me AJ. And that's also okay. And I actually have a persona, not that anybody knows about it, but my character is a Middle Eastern djinn.
What? So no,
Sick.
that makes the knighting that I got to attend, the first thing I got to do in Amtgard, even make more sense because we were in White Sands. That's so sick. Awesome. Xander.
Oh, well, my friend Lindsay, who was playing with me at the time, I don't do it a lot now, but I used to role play a lot more than when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, Cole. And he was a lich wizard. Well, it's essentially the same thing. But he was a lich, and I was his assassin for hire.
Okay.
That's why I was Xander the Reaper. So that's his character named me after he wiped my memory.
There's a memory story there? Okay.
Yes.
I don't remember that from the first time. All right. Cool. And Sir Francis?
So back when I was 16, very long time ago,
Nice.
I got interested in playing a different game called Society of Creative Anachronism. got all into it, created my name, Francis of Ravensholm. 18, joined the Army, was in the Army for 6 years, and found this weird game through junior college, and just transferred that persona over. Francis has had many rebuilds as far as where he comes from. Currently, Francis is based off of the German Landsknechts, and been having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. Also, being the court herald has become your bread and butter, which is, if you haven't been to a Dragonspine court in a minute, you need to start coming to do Dragonspine court, because yeah, hey, listen, I got the stutters. Ruth is clearly drinking something that Bex thinks might be spiked. We're all good, guys. We're all good. All right. So
Just Kool-Aid.
knighthood aside, masterhood aside, let's talk about just the awards themselves. What award or achievement would you say you're most proud of receiving? Anyone got something that jumps right to mind?
For me, it would be one of our former queens, Larissa, gave me the title of the Sage for mentorship and always being there when she had a question. And that's still to this day one of my favorite awards.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think my favorite award might be the ambassador to the Burning Lands that I got many, many moons ago.
No. Okay. Ezra Jade, Xander.
I'd say maybe Walker at the middle.
Mine was my lord.
Good. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I wanted to add this. This question was asked specifically for you guys, but I felt like it was a good bare necessity. Sorry, Sin. What's your thoughts on awarding players past 10 orders in the ladder system? So an 11th Rose, an 11th Lion, etc. Anyone can take that, by all means.
Why not?
There's nothing wrong with awarding people who've done the work. If they've done the work beyond the 10th level, what's wrong with awarding them for it?
Sure.
Yeah, make put every 10 title. Put a title every 10. They get another 10.
It's
Prestige them over and over again. Never ends.
I think we do the game and our community as a whole a disservice if we don't continue to recognize folks, even if they've got their masterhood, even if they've gotten the shiny white belt. We've got folks that continue to contribute and continue to bring to the game. And if we don't recognize those folks for what they're doing, it shows. And I've noticed in the past that when we don't do that, those that are nearing masterhood see it and they tend to give up. Yeah. You know, if we're not going to recognize those that are doing the work, why?
Yeah.
So,
for sure. Sir Francis, there's a question in the chat that we need to confirm. Sir Francis, are you wearing eyeliner currently?
No.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Lies.
It should have been a not yet.
This is why I wanted to do this for the 100th episode, guys.
Hey, I'm in California. There's no telling.
Fair. All right. Last
Still
question.
lighting, huh?
Last question of the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. And it's changed specifically for you guys. Is the game still fun? And if it's not, how did you deal with burnout? Xander, go ahead.
Wait.
Oh, never mind.
Go.
Okay, Hazel Jade's got it. Go ahead.
Me? I
Emily's got it.
Wow.
We're sane. No, Annabelle Lee, go ahead.
All right. Honestly, I still find the game fun. I participate in more of a leadership role than a play out on the field role. Every once in a while, you'll catch me out on the field when I've gotten tired of somebody's crap and I want to say something to them. I say it on the field. Xander.
Stay on the field. I go over and talk to you, and then we yell at
Fair
each other.
enough.
Make fun.
So, okay. So how about if you have an opinion that's different than the person I call on, then you can be like, oh, I have something to say that's incorrect. But if you agree, we'll just keep moving forward so that I don't have 4 people yes-manning the question. Is that fair for everyone?
Works out.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone who disagrees with Annabelle Lee?
I think there was like a 2-part question here because like wasn't like part of it is like are you solving fun, and if not, what do you do about burnout?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I think I'll hop on the burnout end of the question because that's over here, retirement mode. And I think that's what it is. You have to acknowledge that it's time. It's time to take a break. It's time to take a breath. It's time to like reevaluate things and decide what it is you really want to do inside the game. So I think that's really important. And it could be as simple as a couple weeks, or it could be, a pandemic happens and you get 2.5 years off kind of thing. But yeah, and then I guess like if you want to be around and not be real, just do what you want. We had a feast at our house not too long ago, and neither one of us is very active at all, but it was like, hey, we want to actually try to do a feast in person. I'm like, hey, I have a backyard, feel free to use it.
Yeah. And there is, being from the outside of that, right? Like you guys have stepped away, but it's not entirely. I know that from gaming with you and Sir Randall that I still get asked, like just to check in, just to be like, hey, how was Saturday? Because you guys know I'm bursting at seams to like share. It's like, oh, I want to tell all the stories because every park day is still an adventure for me. But yeah, having court in your backyard, there's still a community there, right? Like still friends. It's just Amtgard isn't necessarily as strong, which is great because friends are important. Okay. Those were the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. I have said that a record number of times today. Episode 100, we're just taking all the...
You're trying to get 100 of them?
Yeah, well,
Nice.
Okay, so let's get to the questions KOK viewers have been asking since episode 1. It's episode 100. It's been asked every single time. Sir Glenolf got his toaster. Calthrax sent it to me. I gave it to Sir Alucard, and Sir Alucard supposedly delivered it to Sir Glenolf. Dragonspine Circle of Knights. Does Sir Glenolf deserve a soda maker?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Probably.
especially if I can have some.
It better make rum and cokes. Is what I'm telling you right now.
That's where I'm at. There's going to be mixed drinks involved. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go out with the consensus that Sir Glenolf should get his soda maker, despite throughout KOK, we've had some people that were like, no, damn it. He should have to give someone something now. That's fine. All right. This group is also going to settle the biggest debate that's happened since KOK started. Morgan, Kodiak, or Stillhat? Who's the best bear?
Me.
None.
The one I just killed on my video game.
Okay. There was an... Okay. As I'm saying, okay. All right. Cool. That's cool.
Please broke Kodiak.
No, come on. This is KOK. I was aware that no one was going to pick anyone. I'm aware, but I got to I got to lean into that. Okay. So Freya's questions then got to come. Why are bears so overrated? They're not? Is that what I hear?
I think it's just because they're bears.
Probably because they're bears. Yeah, I'm with Xander on this. Probably just because they're bears.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can go with that.
See, my issues is just not enough bear rugs running around
Yeah.
or laying around, I should say,
Listen.
Or being worn.
or being worn. I think all these people that run around claiming bearhood aren't fully committed to it, and they're kind of posers because they don't have, bear hides.
Well, Sir Francis,
If the fur's not yours, why are you wearing it?
well, if you're paying attention to the stories, alternate dimension Kodiak is the one that has two swords duct taped to his hand and is a real bear. The Kodiak you're
That's
currently
a cheap,
seeing.
easy cop out.
Yeah, well,
It is an
I
easy
mean,
cop out. Also, if you want to go that route, that you never said that bear had fur.
it could be a bald bear. You're
Ooh,
right. That's
that's
absolutely a
So if
possibility.
that's the case,
that's
he's
just
no longer
you
Kodiak, he's fuzzy
At that
wuzzy.
point, yeah,
That's-
fuzzy
Fair
wuzzy,
enough.
hilarious,
all right.
hilarious.
I'm taking the floor away from the COK. All right. Last of the questions that have been asked every episode. What is your thoughts on Dragonspine getting a mobile pool or jacuzzi?
So
Who's
when-
going to maintain it?
Xander.
Yeah, that makes
Well,
sense.
Xander's already got the truck. Why haven't we voted to get the plastic that we need and just fill the back of his truck?
I said that the first time.
I thought we already talked about
And
that.
it's a simple fix.
Yep. I believe as far as makeshift pools or jacuzzis go, that was the plan. Although a lot of talk about sweaty amp garters being a reason not to have a pool or jacuzzi.
Bloody ham garters.
Sweaty amp garters.
Mm,
Bobby already did that at his house.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, those
That
were
was
the three
oil.
questions KOK viewers have been asking since episode 1. Let's get to the actual questions. And since this question has become the first one, none of you have been on. Again, none of the people that have been on this or that are on currently have been on since episode 18. So, Circle of Knights, what is your weirdest flex? Besides sitting in silence when you get asked a question.
I know I say it a lot. It's just, you'd aggravate me. I'm just gonna tell you I'm gonna throw you.
Yeah, that's true.
I think my weirdest flex is just that single stare that I can give people when they're
Aroused?
there's that, but when they're a little over the top and they're being a little out of sorts, if you will, I can just give the death glare and it reins them back in.
Fair enough.
He calls it the death glare. I call it the dad stare.
Tomato. Annabelle Lee as Jade. Weirdest flex.
My presence.
True story. Story of his time.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yo.
true, man.
Yeah.
Can't top that.
No.
My God.
I thought it was her catchphrase. I'll shank you.
Oh, okay. Annabelle Lee, I hope you have an answer as well.
She'll get there.
I don't think I have one.
Your weirdest flex is that you're just a basic bitch.
That's pretty much it. I am a basic bitch.
I'm sorry. It's my last episode. Throw me off. I don't care. Whatever. Annabelle Lee, you know I love you. Anyways, okay. So Randall, I'm gonna.
Interesting.
Randall?
Is it the library that got you?
Nope. Sir Francis, I'm going to direct this question at you.
Wow.
Listen, he's your knight. It's close. I'm going to direct this question to you. You are the Guild Master of Knights. Who are the active Dragonspine Knights?
That right now would be myself, Dom, Dame Annabelle Lee, Alucard, Leela to a degree, Ben or Sir Randall to a degree, Azrael Jade to a degree. Let's see. Stefan was starting to make a comeback, but I haven't heard anything since. Who are you pointing at, Ruth?
She doesn't
Xander?
know.
I did mention Xander. He was one of the first. Tom,
True story.
Shion.
Shion.
Sane has been out the last 2 weeks,
Okay.
and I have signed him in.
It's almost a hat trick.
Yeah,
Almost.
he's gonna see this and not ever come back out, because if he gets 3 in a row, he's committed.
That means he's back.
Yeah.
But it's overall, I would say, with past history of Dragon Spine, about half the circle is still active. About a quarter of that is semi-active, and then some that aren't active at all.
Okay. All right. So for the entire group, what do you think is the best AmpGuard related advice you've ever received?
Remember,
this
it's
is
a game. The
Okay.
best advice I got
To play
was
the
remember it's a game. And it just so happened to be Azrael Jade who gave me that advice, because I was starting to get really super hardcore frustrated with where I was going. And she pulled me around back behind the woodshed, gave me a really good stern talking to, and reminded me it's a game. Have fun.
this game. Have fun. Also, the advice I'll give you guys is that when you get on a talk show and you get asked a question,
speak.
engage the question. Yeah.
Nah,
Engage.
that's overrated.
I think that somebody needs to be screen capturing every time you ask a question in the whole night circle. This is all. When you get
Look,
done, I
look.
think.
It's not my fault. The prompter on my side isn't working.
Okay.
Right?
It's going backwards. So
Oh.
essentially, you start from the beginning again.
So all the answers I gave you, shucks.
Yeah, damn it.
All right. Well, I'll try to keep it moving forward then. Dragon Spine Circle of Knights. Who is the best dressed AmpGuarder?
Goldcrest.
Same.
I'm going to add to that because I think it's a duo. It would be
Chalet.
Goldcrest and Chalet.
Chalet. Yeah.
And yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
I would ask Anna Believe, but she's clearly frozen right now. Look at that face. Woo! All right. Well, we're just gonna move on. Anna
That
Believe, when you get back,
screenshot,
you
though. Oh, man.
She's way too happy to be here.
yeah. Don't. If Stillhut's doing her job, she's grabbed this photo, and that is
And that's got to be a shield cover. Come on.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
There it is.
She'll be back
Gone.
at some point. All right. So Stillhut would like to know: have you seen Stillhut's progress on her tarot cards?
I
I
have.
have.
It's
See,
awesome. Yeah.
3 of them, actually. Yeah, they're pretty good.
No. Sir Francis?
Yeah, it's I have seen her progress as she's gone forward. I want to see the completed deck. And that's fantastic.
Absolutely is. Absolutely is. Hey, damn it, Annabelle is back. Whatever. I don't care. All right. Dame Annabelle, you get to answer the question that no one else or everyone else has so far. Have you got to see Stillhut's progress on her tarot deck?
I saw a couple of the new ones, but I have not seen, I'm sure, all of them. She showed me, I think the last one I saw was, God damn it. I can't even think of who she said it was. And I can see the likeness in it, so it was bad. It was a good picture of him, but it's bad that I can't remember the name.
Well, they say the first thing to go is the mind. Not a big deal. As we move forward,
That has been gone, by the way, smart ass.
oh, I'm here. Oh, the roast is good. All right. An actual night question. I'll have each of you answer this if you could, please. Do you think a person can get a belt with a single medium, i.e. serpent belt for scribal work? We just had Godric Gray and Corin Gray, both of which are belt and sash makers who do fantastic weaves. Is there a place for a person being honed in one specific skill that gets them all the way through the ladder? Sir Francis.
I think so, yes, but I think it's a much more difficult endeavor because you're always looking for growth in a person's skill. It's also difficult because, and I've been guilty of this as well, Monarchy doesn't always know what the appropriate award to give is. Owl, dragon, you run into those things. It is doable. I would say overall, I could be wrong in this assessment, but I think Amy is probably one of the best Gerbers in the game, period. And I've always associated her with that. Granted, she's got multiple belts, but I've always associated her as a Gerber.
Okay. All right. Any other insights from the other members?
I think it is possible. Again, it is a long, hard road to hoe, but like even Kenjin in a lot of ways, one of our next knights is really known for one thing. He's done more than just one thing, but he is absolutely known for his owl work. And he's amazing at it. So if you're looking for an example of someone who could get there through that, there it is.
Yep. Okay. All right.
I think it helps to have at least a secondary track, even if it's not like a major focus. Like I like being called out for being a Garber, not even a master Garber.
It's a shame.
But I found it actually to be kind of helpful because I did have a pretty much an emphasis on garments, on things made from fabric. So I picked up cooking as like a secondary thing to just try to show people that I can actually do more than one thing. And sure, I wasn't like kicking it out the door the first time I cooked something, but I think showing that you're willing to move to try at least another area helps a little bit. But if you're gonna take the single track road, just be able to continue to improve upon it and show people why you deserve to have it for one track.
Okay. Awesome. Xander, do you got an insight here? Or are you with the rest of your colleagues?
I would agree. Anything that you're passionate about, especially if you're garbing or making swords, anything that you're passionate about, pottery, if you can show improvement every time, or if you're the best at that thing, no one can get close to you at all, you should be able to get your knighthood in that category. It's just going to be harder because you're essentially topping yourself every time.
Okay. So this question was farther down, but I feel like this is a great point to bring it up. There are, there are some letter awards that are less traveled. Owl, Smith, for example, would be the two examples that pop to mind right away. Do you guys, when you're evaluating a person that's coming up for knighthood, do you look at the path that is less traveled with a different eye, or is it still the same kind of critique versus sword or Orders of the Crown?
I would say the same, because it's
Yes.
Even if it's sword, garbing, to the crown service, you're still having the same. You still have to do the same things, consistent with what you're doing. Working toward being better, toward the game. It's all the same thing. It shouldn't change just because it's a different path.
Fair. We got agreement.
Yes.
I also think that you have to look at it equally across the board, because so many awards cross over in so many different areas. using myself as an example, I received a lot of lions and roses when Smiths may have been more appropriate. So you have to look at each one just as importantly as the other. It's with the eye that sometimes knowing that the Monarch teams can misassign an award, and it's not an intentional snub. It's just a lack of understanding of the awards, and I think we're getting better at it.
Yeah.
But we're looking at a game that has almost a 50-year history now.
That's fair.
So,
I mean, in the world that we play in currently, KOK got me a 7th dragon, and I don't dragon, guys. So there's a for instance where you could probably have been like, that's a service and not so much an art. Obviously I can't talk. We've already talked about my stumbling that I'm doing so far today, but the last time I might have to say that ever. It's not about me. Let's get back to the COK. I got
It's the only time he's ever going to say it.
He'll say it so many more times tonight.
This question has a bear pun in it, so it stayed. What do you consider to be a bare necessity of Amtgard that new players should focus on? Sorry, Sin.
Having fun.
Finding what they like and want to do in the game. Even if it's just hanging out with their friends.
For sure. You don't always have to be on a path, right?
Nope.
No, just chill with homies. Okay. So we're at the question. Okay. The Circle of Knights is going to save this question, and it's going to work in a way that allows us to end the show knowing that the right decision was made.
I already hate it.
Cato would like to know, should there be back shields in version 9?
no, and no.
Yes, but it has to be a buckler.
Shut up, Xander.
Ezra Jade, please give us a no here.
I guess I really don't have an opinion on the matter, but I really probably don't at the end of the day like a back shield.
Okay. All right. Cato, it's episode 100, and finally the majority of the people in the call have the right answer. Granted, I usually only talk to one person, so it's always 50-50. But now, no, Backshield V9, let's not do that.
Now he's got numbers.
I got numbers. All right. Guys, what is your favorite Amtgard event?
Oh, I would say it was Harvest of Souls way back when it was still a thing.
Okay.
Harvest War,
in
you mean?
Albuquerque. Or how? Well, same, yeah.
Same
Harvest
thing.
War, Harvest of
Yeah.
Souls,
Same thing.
and then Gathering of Clans now, I guess.
Okay.
Probably GOTC.
Common answer. Sir Francis? Oh, Annabelle's got it. Never mind.
I think GOTC is my favorite, but my heart lives in DSLC, where we do Maze.
Yeah.
I think my favorite event wasn't even my first event, would be Spring War, when we were at Lost Burrow Campground, got snowed on, Team Jetlag got decimated in the jugging tournament. But overall, for me, that was probably one of the best events I've ever been to. And I can't even really say why it was one of the best. That one has locked in my head forever.
Cool. All right. So when you're at events, maybe it would be a great opportunity for our Circle of Knights to meet. So anyone, when does our Circle of Knights meet typically in person? How often do we discuss candidates in the Circle of Knights? And do we have any quirky traditions that Circle of Knights do when they meet?
We definitely have quirky traditions.
Yeah. So the Circle of Knights generally meets once a year at GOTC. At that meeting, we do not discuss anybody. I'm not going to say what we talk about, but I will say that the quirky tradition, and I absolutely love it, is that the newest knights that were elevated during the year have to bring the beer. Some of us go above board and bring really good beer, and some of us really dive under the sink and pull swill from somewhere. But
Red Label. Bring Red Label the whole time.
It's one of the few times in the year that we get a majority of the knights from the kingdom together and see each other face to face. Another one of our quirky traditions is when we bring someone into the peerage and they choose the dark side, the correct side, we give them ice cream. And I believe that was started by Dame Azriel Jade. I may be wrong. But I have fully embraced it and go running off into the future with it. Another one that was recently started was if someone decides to go to the side of light, the wrong side, we gift them with kale and bitter, bitter tears.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
As you should.
And if you haven't been to a Dragonspine Knighting, that's a trip. Is there any other traditions you guys want to speak of, or?
I think one of the things that's worth mentioning is like people probably freaking out because like what they get together and they don't even talk about people is that we have a Facebook group and our business it takes place on the Facebook group, and the reason why we did it that way is because even back in the Static Crown days, our knights were all over the kingdom. And it was easier to have knights be able to participate in conversations and not have to go to events to actually talk about knighthoods. So most of our business, most exclusively took place. I can't speak for the current situation because I'm not really a part of it anymore. But we did all of our business online and saved our in-person stuff for kind of like self-care.
Awesome. I love that. Cool.
And the reason it started that way is at one point, our kingdom covered Alaska, California, Arizona, New Mexico. I mean, that's a huge geographic region. And, you know, we had knights in all of those regions. So it just physically, it wasn't possible to do in-person knights meetings that way. So the business is taken care of online in a Facebook group. It's still going that way. We're very, overall, I believe we're very professional in our discussions as well.
Interesting.
Sorry.
I like how that's what came up right when you said that.
Yo.
Sorry, that's my that's my alarm on my phone. Supernatural, by the way. I need to take a quick break and take something out of the oven real quick. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
Well, okay. We'll just keep circling along here.
Yeah, I'll hear you guys. I just won't be able to talk back.
Okay. All right. So the next question was, and this one could go for a minute, right? Because we got a whole bunch of different ways to look at masterhoods. The question's asking, how do you set the bar for what's an 8, a 9, a 10 in masterhood? And is there a difference between what a 10 is and what a masterhood is?
I'll lead off. So the difference between an 8, a 9, and a 10, what I look at is the technical difficulties. And did they really start nailing those down? I also look at body of work overall. Because someone who can crank out overall, let's say for an event, they needed to crank out 50 tunics for a team or 2 teams. While they may not be masterwork pieces, but they're still well built and put together. that's got to be considered. The difference between a 10th and a masterhood, I'm on the fence about that. And the reason behind that, and it goes back to prior experience, is sometimes Monarch teams have looked at a 10th as the masterhood. And sometimes a Monarch, me, screwed up. And I don't think I screwed up. I think it was given, I gave the award the right way. I just forgot a step. When I elevated someone to Master Lion and they didn't have all their awards. Yes, Amy, you can giggle.
That was me.
Was she deserving of the Master Lion? Absolutely. But I missed a step. I've also seen a lot of someone gets their 10th order and then their masterhood right on top of it. It's kind of a one and done. So I'm a little on the fence on that still. I would like to say there should be some difference, but what do we define that difference as? I think that's a lot of discussion that's going to have to happen between the Monarchs and the people who are in that, the masters themselves, if you will.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any opinions about those high-end awards?
No, I just agree. Is 9 and 10 or to master 9 to 10? It's just you essentially getting to the master. You're ironing everything out. Those last three parts, you're just ironing everything out. Everything's right on point. And then from 10 to master, it's a real gray area of should it be like one thing or should it be two things? Like once you have 10, now you do these things to get the masterhood. You know what I'm saying? Like another step for an award. Or should you just have your 10 and then somewhere down the line you get the masterhood.
Right.
That's all the person who's giving the awards to. Sorry, Amy.
No, go for it. Yeah.
It's up to the person giving the awards too. It's on their perception of the person as well. So.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's been a lot of talk about wanting to maybe make a separation between masterhoods and knighthoods, and I think that is where this conversation should be, where this breadth of conversation should take place, because I've kind of also been on the fence about it. Is it one and then flip right to the next one, or is it a body of work? What's the difference between the two? And I think if you really want to make masterhood a meaningful award, as opposed to the little tick off the edge of the 10th, is that it does become like a body of work, whether it be service work or artistic work, or if you want to look at the fighting ones between 10th and Warlord, do you want to do these things? Do you want to make these the masterhood stand apart? And when people say I have a masterhood, it's also kind of a big deal. So I think there's opportunity for conversation. And within the rule sets of Amtgard, there is room for culture inside each different kingdom. So I think this is a conversation for the kingdom to have too, how they want to perceive things and how they want to handle things.
Absolutely. That sounds great. For sure. Okay. So without insulting too many of you all at once, you are all old guard. You've been playing for a hot minute. Some people's kids aren't as old as the time you've put into Amtgard. So with that being said, as long as you're in your place with the understanding about that.
In my place.
Oh, what place would that be?
What is your opinion on how the awards used to be given out versus, let's say, how they've been given out since the Floating Crown?
Honestly, go ahead, Robert.
I think it's improved drastically. I think we've had a lot of new insights from various monarchs with different passions as far as how they track things and how they're willing to advocate for folks. I honestly believe that it's improving. One of the areas I'm concerned about is backsliding on our lower level orders with our newer folks. that I think we may be forgetting some of them. And I think that's something we've got to be very careful of, because that's how you keep the excitement going and the drive going. But I think overall we've improved with our giving of awards.
I think what I've seen is we as a kingdom have gotten better about awarding things that we don't necessarily see in person, but we see them online, or we see them in passing somewhere on, some Facebook group. There's a picture of somebody who did something that was really spectacular, but it didn't get judged at an event. So back then we may not have awarded it, but more so now we're seeing that it's being awarded. So that's a good step forward, if you will. But I also miss having our in-person Dragon Masters, our in-person Crown Falls, things like that, that people can really show off everything they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else?
Yeah,
I think that
they
it's
got it.
healthy. I think that it's healthy what they're doing. I think that at the end of the day, we go back to it's a game, have fun with it. I have no issues with the way in which I earned my awards. I think that still cut steel. So I think that the hard competitions were fine, and it was a time frame. I know that there's concerns about gatekeeping and stuff like that, and those are legitimate. But I think that this is the direction that the kingdom is going. Again, here we are. We're playing within the sets of the rules, and we're defining our culture. And I have no problem with the kingdom defining its culture.
I actually have a pretty strong stance on this. I was the king during COVID.
Is that why COVID happened?
I also was in,
made it
I think,
happen.
almost every one of your ears talking to you about players and figuring out how to get awards out, even though there was no in-game or no in-person game, right? And the struggle was my drive trying to find ways to make sure awards were going out is Dragonspine was being put on the international map as having the fourth lowest nights in the game. And Sir Randall makes a video and says, yeah, we're missing 7 to 10. We don't have that gap. And I'm like, I'm going to find a way. And it's not because people weren't doing the work, but I'm going to go out, I'm going to talk to people. And every monarch that has preceded me and the Floating Crown monarchs before me, not saying that it wasn't done before the Floating Crown, but talking and communicating about getting these awards and getting people to put them in, because that was the other problem, right? Is people wouldn't put them in because they weren't going to go to the event. COVID really gave us an opportunity to start tapping people on the shoulder. And at our end reign, we get to promote someone who exists, whose growth was capable because of COVID, and that's Kenjin. Kenjin did this, put his stuff out there because he was able to build relationships with people. He trusted people through online participation, and he's a master owl, and he's going to be knighted for it. I don't get to pat myself on the back for a lot of things, but I'm taking credit for that. So suck it. All right. We're to Shroudstar's question. Shroudstar did confirm they are okay. There was another storm in Oklahoma area when we had Penryn on, but Shroudstar is okay, folks. Shroudstar's question. I would like everyone to answer this, please. If you could create a letter award in Amtgard that doesn't already exist, what would it be for, and what would you call it? Let's go with Xander.
Well, what I said earlier was, or was brought up earlier, was extending the awards past like master, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my idea was Well, at least for a warlord, was to once you hit warlord, that's your first warlord, and then once you get 10 more, then every 10, you would get a different title, right? So like, and it would get harder and harder to get it, whatever you want to do, but it would be like warlord to 10, and you have to win tournaments against other knights because you're already or a warlord against other warlords, not knights, but against other warlords. And then you would get a warmonger as your title once you get 10 wins. And then if we want to keep going, do that. But I thought it would be cool, if, not even just for that, but for every ladder that we have, to get something to keep us in the game, like strive for something that so we're not bored, I guess you would say.
Sure.
Once you're past if you were just trying to get warlord.
Okay. Annabelle?
Alas, the COK stole mine, so
Oh man.
and already made it one.
Oh man.
I think that's what I said the last time we did this, but I think that I would just do a fun award, something that people would enjoy, not necessarily a ladder though. I just like the fun awards that people give out. I like creating silly things like the Hatter Award that I gave to Ben. Those are things that I like to kind of have fun with.
Okay. Speaking of Sir Randall's in the chat and said, make Jovius a ladder award.
That'd be sweet.
Ooh, that's an idea.
Yeah. Sir Francis, what do you got?
So I'm overall happy with all the awards that we've got. The one that got brought in that I absolutely love was the Order of the Battle. I'm a huge fan of that. When I first started playing Amtgard, that's what I saw in my mind as what a knight was. And that's what I really, aspired to be in the early years of my game. So overall, I'm pretty happy. I am a huge fan of custom awards, and I think they're not used often enough or given great importance when they are given, because the person who gives them often doesn't explain the real why. And, like my Order of the Sage, it's one of my favorites. And it's a non-traditional award. And I think we should work on those more and explain better when we give them out what they're for, and have fun with it. Again, it goes back to having fun with it instead of, killing yourself to get up a ladder.
Sure. Dame Razzle Jade.
Okay, well, first I'm going to say that I like Xander's idea, but that's because I'm ultra competitive, and being able to be competitive again would be kind of fun. But I'm also I guess I'm going to be like the Debbie Downer of the group and be like, there's already enough wards out there. I think wards often become like the worst part of the game already, and I would not want to add to that.
Okay. All right. Well, it's good that you get to lead off the next question then, Razzle Jade.
Okay.
If you could change one rule in Amtgard, what would you change and why?
I'd kind of seen this question being asked before, so I was kind of already kind of thinking about this. I did not look at the questions at a time, so I came in blind. But I don't know. If there's a rule I could change, it'd be the rule that we already have the COC and stuff like that, but just to something that could eliminate the toxicity of Amtgard and the negativity that it breeds at times.
Okay.
Don't be an asshole rules. I don't even already have those, but
That one.
but
So I would, following along with Amy on that, I would like to see a much better no asshole rule. We allow people to skirt park to park, kingdom to kingdom. And as soon as the heat gets a little bit hot, they scoot on to the next group. As soon as the heat gets hot, they scoot on to the next group. I think as leaders and mentors, we, the collective we as leaders and mentors, one, need to start calling that behavior out when we see it. If it hurts their feels, they need to work on it then. I've got to get better on it. I freely admit there are times where I've seen it and just went, they're just a jerk, and not done or said something about it. And I think that needs to happen more. I think we need to get away, we need to get away from, but he's our asshole.
Yeah.
And I think that would help a lot with the culture of toxicity that I believe Amy was talking about.
Okay. Before we go to Annabelle Lee, Dallin, of course. Dallin, thank you so much for coming. It's just a matter of enforcing the don't be a jerk rule, right? Like, instead of, it's there, and it hurts when we have to start smacking people for doing the wrong things, but sometimes people gotta get smacked. Annabelle Lee?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing that needs to change is the attitude towards the newcomers in the game. Because everybody's like, oh, they're new, whatever. The attitudes need to be, let's help these people get where they're trying to go. Give them something to enjoy, not just chase them off because, they're new. Strangers, oh my God.
Right. And Xander, what do you got?
About the same. I mean, I don't think I've ever ran off anybody who was new, and if they were either didn't know the game or anything, they shouldn't try and bring more people. If you keep doing that, you're going to kill the game.
Yeah.
You're never going to not have any new people. And pushing people away by being a dick all the time. I mean, sometimes it's funny, just like with your friends, but not to random people for no reason.
Xander must defend Xander's position.
Must defend the assholes.
Look, I was just telling the truth. I'm sorry.
All right. For this next question, I do not want, I don't want more than one word. Just give me the word. Let's see if we can do this. And it's Dallin's favorite question. So it's interesting that Dallin popped in right when they did. If you could remove one of the knighthoods, which one would you take away?
None.
There's three more.
All.
None.
None.
Okay, fine. We won't take. So if you've been following KOK for any time, Godric kind of has been piecing something together with me where it's like there's one knighthood, right? We're not going to go as far as Sir Smiley wants it and blow it all up, but we're just going to have the one. Sir Randall would like to come to the chat. Is it okay if we add Sir Randall to this?
Throw him in.
All right. Well,
He's already jamming up my internet by being.
I'm gonna throw Sir Randall
on the phone. I'm trying to play video games.
I'm gonna throw Sir Randall in the chat. Okay, but the idea of increase the masterhoods and just make knighthood a thing, but whatever, we'll move on.
I want to say something because I see that in the chat. One knight path, many masterhoods. My problem with that, I in a general agreement with that, but I think that I think you're just going to see marginalized people just get pushed out even more than they already are with something like that. You're just going to be more excuses, more ability for people to make excuses to not knight people.
Okay.
And that'd be my concern with that.
And my all-time least favorite statement that I heard coming up in the game is, I don't see them as a peer. If we eliminate all of this, that will be the primary excuse used again, and I'm really against that.
Okay. All right. So Randall, welcome to Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. We were just asking which knighthood you would remove if you had to pick one.
None of them. They're
Okay.
fine.
Well, all right.
Are we removing knighthoods? Are we getting rid of knighthoods?
I mean, it's just a question. We're just talking. You know.
Oh,
The background, Ben, with the scarf and your jacket is just amazing.
oh, thank
That
you,
dinner coat is amazing, bud.
thank you. I
loving
was
it, loving
I was
it.
teaching a class and I was working. So whose knighthoods are we removing? Are we removing mine? Is that what we're doing?
No. It's just a question on if we were asked to remove one of the night paths, is there one that we're like, yeah, we could probably blend like flame and crown together, or maybe battle master and sword? You know, the idea that was presented to the COM originally, that battle master and sword probably are the same thing, but now they're not. Could they have been blended together to begin with? Stuff like that. But
Oh, do we have to get rid of one?
well, no one else chose one, so I don't see why you have to.
Oh,
You can do what you want, man.
hey, thanks. Sword. The answer is sword.
Okay. All right. Sword. No more sword. Okay.
Sweet.
Awesome. The last question before we get to the actual night questions. Thank you so much for sitting through all of the other night questions we've already asked. Is what would you like to see out of the crown going forward, and how is Tajima doing?
I was playing.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
doing
Xander,
good.
you took it first. Go ahead and get
I
it.
think he's doing good. He's doing good at a lot of things. He's a guy that's in his head a lot, so he needs to. If he would just get past himself, he'd be doing fine. He'd be doing even better than just fine.
Okay. Anyone got anything that they would like to add, or any counter to he's doing fine and he's inside his head?
No, I just think he needs to settle down and make his decision and keep it. Don't try to get people to okay it.
You listening, Tajima? You hearing that?
I already
And I
told him
think
this the other
that
day, so I
comes
don't
from-
say it again.
I think that comes from a leadership experience point. I don't think it's a character flaw or failing. It's
No.
new leaders, especially at the kingdom level, are always unsure of what's going on. And they want to do their best. And sometimes, like Xander said, they get into their head a little bit much. But I don't think he's doing a bad job. I think he's doing a good job. I just think he needs to stand behind some decisions. Which is fine. That's an experience thing. We grow into that. It's none of us are born perfect leaders on our first shot. That's something that is definitely a learned ability.
For sure. Cool. All right. Okay. We're here. It took us about an hour to get here, but we brought the knights on and we have night questions. Let's ask some night questions. So we're going to start off with a three-parter. So yes, there are 3 parts. How long have you been knighted? Who dropped the sword on you? And who walked you through the swords? So let's go with, if you have multiple belts for those special people in the audience, let's go with your first knighting and if those things happen or not. And let's start with the multi-belted knight who is currently on camera. Damosel Jade.
Okay, I did not look at the questions, but I figured this was one that might actually get asked. So I actually looked up the dates on these. So I'm old school. So some of my knightings were ninja knightings. So there was nobody walking down the thing. There were no little sword thingamajiggers. And my last one, I didn't want any of that sword thingamajigger stuff. So it didn't happen for that either. So my first build is Serpent 2007. Fyron Jacob knighted me. and also dropped the sword. The second belt was 2011. That was Crown. Ruth knighted me, but I think maybe Kyle might have dropped the sword. I can't know if I don't remember that for sure. And 2018, Flame, and it was Baihu.
Okay. We'll go around the horn here as I see it, which would be Sir Francis. You're next.
So I was knighted in May of 2014 by Laricia, who was at the time, my squire sister. And that was before the sword arch became a thing.
Okay.
So that's a relatively recent addition that I really like. And if I have to poke people in the hind end with swords to continue it, I will.
Okay. Damon, I believe.
think mine was at Maze 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe.
2019.
I don't remember. Just before COVID hit.
2019.
Yeah, that. And
That
it
one.
was it was Edelsbeth that dropped the sword. But Kaliana is the one that walked me through the sword arch.
Cool. Awesome. So Randall, you're next.
2002 Crown. Fyron knighted me. I also was knighted in my first belt by Fyron. I think that's something that Azrael Jade and I have in common. 2008, Emmer knighted me at Gathering of the Clans at GOTC. It was the flood year, so we shortly thereafter had to evacuate site, and the Dragonspine Knight Circle was almost wiped out by the flood because it was something like Foshan and me and Azrael Jade and Glenulf, and I forget who else, stranded on the other side of a new river that was not there when we started the night. And I had a broken sternum because somebody was a little inappropriate on buffeting on me, and so it was a little difficult for the knighting part, and also a little difficult getting off site. But yeah, that was Flame, very wet. And the third was 2019. That was also Cody Edelspeth at Gathering of the Clans as well. That was Serpent, and he dropped the sword. And Francis is right. The sword tradition of holding swords up is like a new thing for our kingdom. It's not common in all of Amtgard. I think it's beautiful. I think it's pretty fantastic. I also love the thing that we do where we've gotten a sword to knight them with, and then we give them that sword. That's kind of cool as well. And I think that one of us here, I'm looking in the lower left on my screen, and that's Azrael Jade, who has a story for having the coolest knighting sword in Amtgard.
Absolutely.
She does. She absolutely does. Son of a bitch, she does. Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, and we thought we were
So
going to be
upset.
bad.
Well, okay.
Phone's over there.
I've told this story 1,000 times. There it is. Yep.
Loving
Think
it.
about
I'll turn off my background for a sec.
think about a baby Kodiak going to White Sands to see his first ever knighting with some of his new friends, Deverick and Magna Held and Locke, and Azrael Jade gets that dropped on her shoulder. Yeah, that's an angel blade.
You can wipe the
So, yeah,
tear,
it's going
Chris.
to-
Yep.
Right there.
If there was ever, it's no secret at this point, Azrael Jade and I have watched Supernatural together. Well, not all of Supernatural, but we watched the final season together. We have shared stories. We have carried on. So to see that at my first ever knighting, I was, oh well, Amtgard is the place to be. Yeah. Yes, Sir Randall, thank you so much for making me explode on my own show.
Wow.
All
Those
right.
are words.
Yeah, and Xander, could you please tell us your story?
Well, mine was at Maze this last year. Still had dropped the sword. It was great. I don't think she was ready for how heavy that sword was. And Elmarin was the one who walked me down the aisle. It was beautiful.
Yeah. And we almost cut him up too.
Yeah. What was real funny is we were right before we were about to start, and we were sitting next to each other just kind of bullshitting. I was like, hey, how mad would they be if we just went to the bar? You think they'd be mad? This was me saying that, and he's We could just go. Yeah.
It would be great.
And
if
then
we
you
had to
almost
do-
cut him. It's like you guys knew.
Yeah. It would be something if we had to do a representative thereof to do a knighting, right?
Oh man, we missed an opportunity.
Yeah.
Damn it.
All right.
Next
We're
time,
gonna go
man.
back around the horn again. Which means more to you, your masterhood, warlord, or your knighthood? Xander?
I would say for me, it would be my knighthood, and
Over
only
there
because my friend Jaime, who has passed away, really, really wanted me to get it. But if it was just me, like nothing else, it'd probably be my warlord.
Okay.
But higher on that totem pole would be my knighthood,
Go look in the car then, Ray.
right?
Hey, Ink Snack is here. Look at that. Sir Randall, what means more to you?
I don't know. That's a hard question. For many years in Amtgard, when people ask me what sort of knight I am, I would say crown, and I would stop the conversation there because it's the one that I defined myself as, and it meant the most to me. And there's no underlying masterhood, which isn't to say that I'm not incredibly proud of having been king to earn the awards to get the eligibility for crown, but there's no underlying masterhood for it. At least I was not at the time. And so if I have to answer the question, I would give my automatic answer of Knight of the Crown means the most to me, but I am not sure that's as true as it used to be, and I can't really articulate why, except that maybe the priorities in my own head have shifted enough that none of them are important to me, and that the things that are important to me in Amtgard are not different than those things. But short answer, crown.
Nice.
You can always rely on Sir Randall to have a philosophical conversation about, an answer. But thank you, Sir Randall.
I'm in a transitional place right now, so
Yeah, absolutely. Dame Annabelle, how about you?
I think the masterhood means the most to me. My master lion was something that I really, really wanted. So I think that was the thing that meant the most to me.
Okay. Sir Francis?
When I first got knighted, and for a few years after that was the highest for me at the time. And with time, and I think it's as I've mellowed, and I had to rediscover what I wanted to do in the game. I think my masterhood now, and it's not even my master rose. It's my master archer. So slightly off kilter, but that's still one of those awards for me that's way, way up there. It just phenomenal for me.
Okay. All right. And Azrael Jade, which one means more?
I think that probably like the knighthood for Serpent, it was I came into the game not knowing how to do any crafts really. Like I knew how to do crafty stuff, but like I didn't know how to sew. I'd never owned a sewing machine. I had never done any of that stuff before I joined Amtgard. So the actual accomplishment of getting there was kind of a big deal and really important to me. And to actually be knighted for that was kind of like a big deal. And then with Flame, it was kind of like the elusive unicorn that had been kind of there for. I've been a master rose longer than any other masterhood that I have in the game. I don't know what year that was, 2005 maybe, 4 or 5, somewhere around there. So that was kind of like the elusive one that I thought I was ever going to get. So it was kind of nice to actually get that accomplishment and that acknowledgement for the work done.
Cool. Awesome. That's good to hear. All right. So there's 2 questions here, but I'm going to exclude the first one, which was, what does it take to be a knight? We only want the better part of that, which is what makes a good knight. And I'll take the field at this point.
Well, I guess it's kind of a hard question. if just who, what makes a good knight.
Well, Xander, we only ask the hard questions on KOK, so
You
Lies.
ask what soup is. Shut up.
Okay.
I would say hurtful, but okay. I would say it's hard to say because it really depends on the person. Really, everyone has a view of what knight is. I have it. Everyone has a view of it for themselves and for other people. But a defining answer, be a good leader. Don't be a dick, I guess.
yeah, we keep treading that same area, right?
Just keeps coming back around, huh? Don't be a dick and try and make the game better. Really, that's why we're here, I guess. I would assume, I would hope. Trying to make it better, not worse.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. Any dissension or conversation there?
At one point, somebody else, I think it was Dame Wheelock, a long time ago, when we were talking about knighthood, said, if you take the person out of the park, would the park suffer? And maybe not even just for their art or something like that, but would the park be worse off without that person there? Does that person do something for the park that makes the park a better place? And I think that's one of the questions you should ask. And at the end of the day, maybe it is because their fighting brings, fun to the fighting field, or their art brings joy, but really the person, what does that person bring, and would their absence be felt?
Okay. Anyone else want the floor on that question?
I was trying to find this on old Amtgard forums, but I remember there was a quote that Foshan used to have on his signature. I think it might have been on Yahoo Groups. It was definitely an email quote, not an eSamurai one. And Foshan, incidentally, is Knight of the Sword from the 90s. He was knighted in 1997. He was king twice in the 90s. Fantastic Amtgarder, one of the best to play the game, and a fantastic fighter. No longer plays Amtgard, though. And his quote said something along the lines of, I know I am not Percival, but I try to be, I aspire to be, and that's what's making the difference. This notion that Percival is the perfect knight, and that's an impossible thing to become. Nobody can do it. But it being impossible doesn't make striving toward it any less meritorious. In fact, striving towards it is the point. Mm-hmm. So I like that. I like that kind of inspirational quote and idea. Other than that, I would agree completely with what was said by my predecessors in this talk. They've all said correct things on what it means. I think from my point of view, I'm not sure what the answer would be anymore. I don't know what's current in Amtgard and what makes a good knight today. But I would hope that the answer would include things like be kind. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm giving a Doctor Who speech. Be kind, run fast, laugh hard. I think that those are the things that would make a good knight. And I would hope that all knights would do it. And I would hope that if somebody is not kind, that they would not become a knight, because I would worry what that would do for other Amtgarders.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you guys a second here to reflect on your history in the game, or maybe not. Maybe it's current. I would be surprised. But as knights in Dragonspine and in our kingdom, who's a knight that you admire and why?
In game?
A knight overall, yeah. No, a game. Someone. I'm going to ask about fictional knights down the road, Ezreal Jade. Okay. But who's a knight inside of Amtgard currently that, or in the past, that you admire?
Goldcrest.
Okay, that's a.
Right. You may need to modify the question for if you ever do KOK again, who's a knight not named Goldcrest that you admire in Amtgard?
Yeah. Well, I don't have a problem with Goldcrest being the answer. We talk about Percival. So you brought up Percival. I feel like you could replace Percival with Goldcrest inside of Amtgard. And if you're shooting for what Goldcrest has done, you're probably doing the right things. But is it maybe someone besides Goldcrest that they'd like to mention? Or?
There's There's so many knights in the game that I admire for so many different reasons. Dame Casket and I am probably one of the most talented leather crafters I have ever seen. And her brutal honesty when you ask her about knighthood puts her up there. Her husband Cord is another outstanding example of what a knight should be. One of the kindest people I have ever met. You know, we you've got to throw MHOG into that mix too. And what I think most people who aren't as familiar with Mikey is back in the day when I was still new to the game, he thoroughly and utterly trashed me in a tournament. But at the same time, he started coaching me against others in the game that are now sword knights. Just things like that. I wouldn't be where I'm at in the game today without literally the shoulders to cry on, the advice that I sought from Dame Azrael Jade and Sir Randolph. There's just so many knights out there that have qualities to admire. I caution people to not put them on pedestals, because the higher you put someone up on a pedestal, the further they fall and the more tragic it is. And that I can't even emphasize enough how much we as a society do that with our knights in general. And when that knight falls off of their pedestal, just the backlash from it all the way around is horrid. I'm not saying if a knight just screws the pooch so horribly that we're looking at a COC violation or a stripping of belts or titles. That's a different animal. But for the longest time, a knight would have to show up at the park always in a good mood, always positive, could not even have a modicum of a normal day, or they were seen as unknightly. And that goes to putting people on pedestals. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. I can go on that one for a while.
No, I like it. And actually, I get to do a song quote. So the bigger the river, the bigger the drought. Yeah. Think about that. Kodiak said that. Someone else said it first, but then I said it. So it's profound that I said it. Any further insight into admiring our knights, or should we move on?
I'll throw some names out there real quick. Crispin, Randall, Medrin, I am, Emily Chalet, Isaac Anatole for the work he's done. And I'm also particularly proud of my boy Kyle, because I mean, somebody like him actually making it to the point where they could be deemed a knight in Amtgard was a really proud moment for both of us. I know that it was a long, hard road, I guess is what I'm saying, and just that. So yeah, those would be mine.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna move to the next question. This has been available for a while now. It's been it's been more than a year. Paladin and Anti-Paladin have been opened. So when answering this question, tell us how you feel about that, and also which do you identify with? Let's go with Dame Annabelle first.
Wow.
Why are you laughing? Anyway. I identify as a
Squirrel.
yeah, kind of. My brain went left as an anti-paladin, but honestly, I'm not real concerned about them opening it up. They did what I wanted as far as opening it up. They kept the symbols for the knights and gave the other part or the players something else to wear and do for their anti-paladin and paladin.
Okay. All right. Let's go Sir Francis next.
Oh, anti-paladin.
Was
And
there
it's-
ever a
it's-
doubt?
It's not because I'm this giant evil jerk.
Questionable.
It's just
Dame
trickery.
Azrael Jade taught me this. Is I wanted people to see a different light on anti-paladin other than just being a couched jerk because they were role playing. No, you're a jerk.
Gross.
So and that's where I'm at with it. There was a second part of the question. I rambled. Sorry.
Which one do you identify with, and how do you feel about Paladin and anti-Paladin being opened?
I have no issue with it being open the way it is right now, because now that it is open to other folks, and I giggle when I hear the side conversations after it's been played a few times of just how
Terrible.
terrible they really are.
That's fair. That's fair. We lost Azrael Jade. I hope she comes back. We lots of questions still. So we'll move to Xander.
Let's see, anti-paladin.
Okay.
But no, it's I never saw the, I guess, the mystique of like striding to be a knight just to play those classes. I guess I never thought I was like, open them. Who cares? Let the kids play these terrible classes and have fun at it.
Okay. And Sir Randall.
Paladin, absolutely. And I want to talk about that for a little bit in a second here. The second question is I don't have an opinion on them being opened up. I don't think I'm active enough to really have opinions on what classes people are playing. So if that's what Amtgard wants to play, then I think more power to them. That's the way the rules should be. Ask me again when I get more active. I might even have the same opinion by that point. Who knows? But as far as Paladin goes, here's my bragging for myself. So I think Paladin is important. I think it's an important idea, as not this idea of like I'm on the field wearing a white phoenix and I'm wearing armor and I'm doing whatever, but the idea of being a champion for people and an advocate for people and a protector of people who need someone to stand up for them. I think it's an important idea, and it represents to me the very best of knighthood. And my bragging to the world is that Amtgard once had a poll on their Amtgard Facebook group of who were the game's greatest paladins, and 3 people were in the top 3. One of them has been mentioned on this chat already. It was Goldcrest. The other has been mentioned already as well, and that was Michael Hammer of God. And then the other one was me. So I get to be one of the best paladins in Amtgard, according to that poll. And I maybe reinforced myself a little bit because I subsequently found all the people who voted for me, and I contacted them on Facebook and I said, hey, thank you for doing that. That really meant a lot to me, because it did. That made my fingers very tired because there were a lot of them. And now I'm done bragging.
Fantastic. All right. And Azrael Jade, we're going to ask, but go ahead.
Obviously, I'm the anti-paladin. I always have been. I don't think I have a single paladin credit. I like Randall, try not to have Dark Scout. Yeah, this guy who writes Dark Scout. This is a oh, it was in our little group chat, so you can't see it, I guess. But when I first joined Amtgard, I played the Scout class, and I made my first garb, and I made a brown tunic with black flames on it, because everybody else who played Scout made green, bright, foresty colored tunics, and so I started off right away saying, nope, I'm a Dark Scout. But then when I actually get knighted like 5 billion years later, and people ask Ben what Phoenix I should probably have, I do actually own a paladin tunic, because Ben had them make me a paladin tunic. So I do own a paladin tunic. I don't think I have any credits in paladin. I try not to have opinions on what's happening in Amtgard because I'm not really active. But if I'm going to be honest about the situation, it was one of the things that if I had been active, I would not have been a huge fan of. There's not a whole lot else out there for like to distinguish people. I don't know. It's just one of my little things. If I had an opinion, I would not have. If I'd been active, I would probably have not been in favor of it. But I'm not, and it's here, and I hope people have a lot of fun with it too.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I remember sitting on the COM because I was the monarch when that conversation started happening. And there was that conversation with old guard players and new guard players. And I also went to bat for, hey, if you're going to take the symbols away, there's no way we can do it because, you know, sure, we give knighthood and they get presents one day of the year, but then as Ezreal Jade was saying, there's no way to distinguish them. So I remember that being a pretty heated conversation. It's funny watching people struggle with the new class now because it's not good. So, you know, I have fun with it. Anyways, again, we have a bunch of old guard players here. And when I say old guard, I don't necessarily mean that their opinions are trapped in the past. I mean that there's more gray hair here than typically would be if you talk. It's beautiful. But it gives me a chance to ask a question like this and see if we have some differing opinions. Also, we have two relatively new knights, and we have we have an average age knight, and we have some older knights here. Has your opinion of knighthood changed since you were belted? And I want to start with the newest knight in this group, Xander.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, you.
No, actually, I don't think it has. And I don't think I changed because I've been a knight. I said it before I got knight. I said it after. I was like, nothing's gonna change. I'm still gonna be the same dude. I'm still gonna do the same things. Still gonna be there when somebody needs help. I mean, really, that's it.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to go to the next youngest. And Xander, you haven't provided beer for the group yet, as we were told earlier.
Slits.
But
Got it.
Damon Abali, have you provided beer?
No, it's going to be me and Xander and technically Randall as well because he hasn't since we got knighted.
Oh, bit baby.
Hey, who made that rule? Why am I providing beer?
You're
Because
one
you
of the
got
baby
knighted
knights.
Well, you got knighted at GOTC after y'all did the meeting, didn't you?
I'll bring beer. It's fine.
But Annabelle, has your opinion changed since you were knighted?
Not really. I'm still the same person. I do the same things. I'm not going to change just because I got the belt.
Okay.
I have a little more fun picking on people, but
True.
specifically Kodiak. But
You know, who doesn't pick on Kodiak? He's a jerk. Anyways, wait now, Sir Randall, you raise your hand now, but you're doing great, bud. Has been 4 years in the making, and it's grown legs. It's everywhere in Amtgard now. Don't act, okay? Don't play a fool. All right.
It's on his
Okay.
garb now. I've seen it.
hey,
Yeah.
you used
so-
it on him, so shush.
If I'm doing this right, the next one we should talk to is Sir Francis.
Yes.
All right.
I do look at it a little. For me, I have mellowed out a lot more. I was pretty high strung and would grab things and just run with it and run with it and run with it. I'm now encouraging others. I'm mentoring others. So yeah, it's, and I think part of that is just maturity as well. But yeah, I've mellowed out quite a bit.
Okay. So there's two left. Azrael Jade, you would be next.
My personal opinion of knighthood, I don't really think has changed a whole lot. I came in Amtgard as an adult already, so I think that I have pretty find sense of who I were already when I joined the game. I think that the game's idea of knighthood has changed and has kind of been on a little bit of a roller coaster over the years. And there was this exhaustive point, well, exhaustive for me because I don't like people, a point where there was like this, that it's a job and you always have to be on. And you, like, I think Francis talked about this a little bit about, you always have to be having your good day. You have people come up and want to talk to you. You need to talk to them. Holy shit, people. I like sometimes can't people with people. And so I was left to the choice of being a knight or not going to the park. So I chose to stay home. Or you go to an event and I just wouldn't take belts because I didn't want the pressure of like, okay, you're a knight. Now you need to, like, if somebody comes and asks you a question, you're obligated to talk to them. I don't like people. So when did this become a job? And I'm glad that mindset has kind of gone away of like, when you're a knight, it is your job 24/7, because that's a really good way to burn out your leadership. So that's my little segue to a little bit of a rant there.
No, there's a reason why I wanted Ezreal Jade on this. And Sir Randall, you are the oldest knight in this chat.
Well, has the oldest belt.
You have the old, Sir Randall, your belt is old.
Hurtful.
You're muted, baby. Babe, muted.
I think he's just pretending.
You got the wish of thousands of Amtgarders right there. I was not able to talk. So, yeah, how have I changed in the last 20 years? I've shut up now, right? No, I haven't. And so I was knighted 20 years ago, and I would hope that in that time that I would not believe the same things about what we need to do with knighthood in 2022 as I did in 2002 when the game was different than it is now, and has changed multiple times throughout that period. There are fundamentals that I've kept on what I think a knight ought to be, but the process of how that happens, I think the game shifts, the culture shifts, the population shifts. We're a much older game now, both in the demographic and in how long we've been around. And I think that it's good to modify some of our views. And what I think about is that we change some of our attitudes about Amtgard, and sometimes those changes happen faster than people are able to track, and they find that the ground has moved underneath them, that the work that they were doing that they thought was this is knightly work, well, suddenly the standard is shifted in one way or the other. And I don't know. I think that those shifts that we're seeing now are healthy for where the game is now, I think. I want to caveat that by saying that I'm currently inactive in Amtgard, so I'm not sure as much about what the game needs now. But if you were to ask me to guess, I would say that. I got knighted when I was 25. I don't know that I knew what knighthood was. In fact, I didn't wear the belt for a little while afterwards because I wasn't sure what it meant to me or what it meant to the organization. And I adopted some views over time that developed based on the information that I had available to me and the things that I was learning, and got to test those views and see, well, this is what I think. This is what I would like to see. This is how I'd like to pursue knighthood in others, and got to test those views and see how that turned out, and then modify based on that. And I think that the biggest thing for me is probably since about 2017-ish, maybe 2018-ish, feeling like the rarefied way that both Amtgard as an organization and we specifically as a kingdom were developing knighthood was becoming excessively alienating to players and oppressive and not fun. And I think that the shifts that we've seen as a kingdom and as an organization towards making knighthood something that is accessible to players and fairly distributed to those players who are pursuing it and are deserving of it, I think they're good, they're healthy, they're strong. I think Azrael Jade used the word healthy earlier. I agree with that. And I think they're good shifts.
Okay. Speaking of stopping people from moving forward, we're going to talk about gatekeeping here for a question. And I don't know if this has a lot of legs to it because we should be able to say yes or no, right? But how do we distinguish between a gatekeeping situation and what we would consider to be due process of the ascension through ladder awards? We are talking knights, we should be talking about the ladder awards, but How do we distinguish between gatekeeping and due process?
So gatekeeping, I associate with the old adage, "Screw 'em, I got mine." Due process. Knights sometimes have to get out of their comfort zones and look at what people are talking about, such as a good example. It is, a future member of the peerage was a relative unknown overall. And I had to get out of my comfort zone and talk to him. Someone, very near and dear to me dragged me kicking and screaming to see some of his work that he was doing. I think sometimes we as Knights can get a little bit complacent with, getting out and seeing what's around us. But on the same token, when we give an honest opinion, I think we need to be listened to. I think sometimes that when we give an honest opinion or an honest assessment, if it is not in favor of said person, that it's seen as gatekeeping instead of a critique.
Sure.
Not a criticism, a critique.
Awesome. No, yeah, the give and take there for sure. Does anyone else have anything about gatekeeping versus due process, or has Sir Francis eloquently summed it up for us?
I think you did it.
I think you did it. Okay.
I think you
All
did it,
right.
bud.
Okay, fair enough. So what I want to discuss now is we're actually we Dragonspine, you Circle of Knights and our Monarch have decided yes on a couple of people that are going to be knighted at Eldraine. I want to discuss what it would take for you to say no to a person, and what would it have to happen, or what does happen for you to say yes to a person. So we'll start with Dame Annabelle. What would get you a no vote, and what would get you a yes vote?
For me to have a no vote, somebody would have to honestly lack a lot of things. Like, yes, we need to have the box tops to get out there, but also if they're lacking in character and lacking in the ability to even look at trying to help somebody else get where they are, then I think I'd have a hard time saying yes to them. If they don't have the ability to talk to other people and help other people, then you're probably not ready for that next step.
Okay.
But for a yes vote, it's be a good person. Be good at what you're being knighted at. Be someone who's willing to teach others. And it's an easy yes.
Okay. Dame Azrael Jade?
I think that, I don't want to go back to gatekeeping here, but we have to also at the end of the day have to understand that knighthood is being a pinnacle of a set of characteristics and skill sets. So I would not say no to somebody who was not qualified as a fighter, or qualified as an artisan, or qualified as a leader, or who did not do service to the game. So obviously the box, not just the box tops, but like being able to be a master of your craft. If those things are not there, then obviously knighthood would not be on the table for me. And even if those things are there, if the person does not have the type of representation or that character that I would want representing me with a white belt on, I would not vote for them either. So again, going back to the don't be an asshole. And the things that would qualify somebody for knighthood for me, having we just talked about it, being an expert at your field, and being able to be somebody who's not an asshole.
Sir Randall?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have over the years been someone on the Knight Circle who invested heavily in the notion that my role as a knight was to provide honest, candid assessment of candidates, yes or no, to the Knight Circle and then to the monarch, because they're asking, what is your opinion? Should this person be knighted? So I would work hard on staying up to speed on what qualifications people had, what they were doing in their parks, how they compared to people inside and outside the kingdom, and then provide that assessment in a detailed and analytical way. This meant that I voted no a lot, and I would usually get outvoted. Usually I would be maybe the one person voting no on somebody based on my assessment of whether or not they reached masterhood, but not always. Sometimes I would also vote no with the crowd. Sometimes I vote yes with the crowd too. Anymore, if I were active in Amtgard, I don't know what it would be. I think that Azrael is correct. I think that there's that studying of their expertise, their studying of their character. But I have some cautions now because I voted no on a lot of people based on my assessment at the time that what I saw as their work was not what I had come to understand as being masterhood. And they would subsequently get knighted and turn out to be pretty decent knights. And so I think if I were active now, that I would look for whether or not the person was kind of well regarded by if the people looked at them as a leader and as a knight and as the kind of person that they wanted to be in Amtgard, the kind of person that made them happier to be at Amtgard. And I think that the people that I would be most inclined, if I were to vote no, if I were to vote at all for that matter, I'm not sure I would going forward. But if I were to vote no, it would be people who were just kind of mean. I think Amtgard has enough mean people, and I don't think we should be giving those people white belts.
Xander?
I think a lot of the same. Just judge character if they mastered what they're trying to master in that knighthood or in that mastery. Yeah, it's don't be any more dickheads that we have to ban later.
Okay. All right. And Sir Francis.
Some of the traits that are hypercritical for me is some type of ethical code, some type of someone of integrity, and someone who has a moral compass. It doesn't have to be my moral compass, but someone who has a moral compass. A teacher, and I don't mean a classroom teacher. Sometimes mentoring, one-on-one, things like that. We got all hung up for a long time, and I do believe knights have to be willing to teach their craft. But we forget what teaching is often. One of our up-and-comers, and this was one of our old up-and-comers that is currently belted, did a class that really I don't think should have been a classroom type class. It should have been a very small group class. And when discussion was had, that kept coming up, that he was a terrible teacher. He was a terrible teacher. No, the topic that you wanted taught is not a classroom teaching environment. It is a one-on-one small group teaching environment. And I think we need to be honest with ourselves on that. But yeah, character goes a long way. As has been mentioned, a solid representative of your class, if you will, your path. Because masterhood does get redefined, but you have to be a solid representative of it. And that's where I'm at.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give you all an opportunity here to give a brief shout out to someone who's up and coming. What do you think of the new crop of people? There's been masterhoods made by Stelhat and myself and Tajima. We have two people, MacGyver and Kenjin, that are going to be knighted at Endrain. Who have you enjoyed watching climb the ladder? And is there someone that you would like to give a shout out to? And we'll do the reverse order again. Sir Francis, if you...
Okay. Obviously, shout out to the two coming up into the peerage. MacGyver is, I've always joked that she's my step squire. Watching her has been a lot of fun. Also want to point out to a few others that up and comers. Kodiak, you're one of them. You're doing good things. Stillhat, good Lord. She's doing good things. And there's just so many on this up and coming list that I'm so excited to see. And I think we're looking at a solid base for the circle.
For sure. All right, Xander?
I would say the same as watching all of you who essentially started kind of the same, excluding Tajima. I was a little bit late, but he was off and on. Him coming back strong, getting into the role of anything that he was trying to strive for. Stillhat, she like kind of jumped on the horse and just kept going and doesn't know how to get off the horse. That's kind of the problem. But doing terrific. Our two new ones, both seen them do great. I've seen amazing work from both of them. I think we're looking good. I think we have a good future now.
For sure. Okay. I believe the order in descending order last time would put Sir Randall up next.
I want to say how much it's just a complete delight to see Dom sitting here with this group. I think that Dom has been one of the kindest people and one of the best and most patient people. And watching him go through tournaments with just like I know you care, Dom, but with like a devil may care attitude of like, it's a tournament. I'm gonna go in there and do my best. It's almost like watching Rocky in one of their movies where he's asking like, hey, how do you feel about this fight, Rocky? He's like, well, I don't know. Creed's the best, so we'll see. I love it. I love what you've done, and I also love that you go to other kingdoms and just whip the crap out of them. And I really enjoyed, maybe Amy can speak to this too, watching you and Amy and your crew work on landing this thing and work on transitioning our kingdom from taking care of our park to taking care of the kingdom to floating the crown. I really enjoyed seeing that. And I think that you deserve a lot of credit for that. I think that Azrael Jade deserves a ton of credit for that. And I think it feels like it was a moment where you got to sort of step into your place as a leader in the kingdom. So for me, that was a milestone. It's just a delight to see you here. You're a good knight. You're a good person.
Aw.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
I'm glad the game's recognizing it.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please. I haven't other than that, but I want to hear you first.
No, I was going to try to find the next one in the order, but you had more to say, so go ahead.
Other than that, yeah, somebody got a knight Kodiak. He's doing great, and Stillhat art's nice. I like her art.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I started the last question with Annabelle Lee. So Ezra Jade, you're next. See, I'm doing it, guys. I'm hosting.
You know what lines are. It's great.
I'm way too inactive to answer this question. I don't know like works, breadth of works, the stuff that are people doing, and just to like, I guess assure listeners, that also means I don't vote. So, I mean, I want people to be assured on that too, that I'm not just, I don't know who these people are. I don't know who's up and coming. So, and then still putting an opinion on who gets to vote or not. I'm still on the nice list, but I have deactivated it so I don't see it because I'm not active enough in my own mind to vote. So, good on you guys. Yeah. Chris, you're doing a lot of good stuff. Somebody should probably look at you a little bit. And I just know that because I see you outside of Vanguard, so So that's not fair to the rest of that'd be like completely unfair to everybody else that I don't see on a weekly basis or so. So
No, that's absolutely fair. Pay attention to me, senpai. I finally have your eye. All right, and Damon Abuli.
Oh, so many people. Well, of course, Robert gave the shout out to the 2 up and comers. I was really excited when they were mentioned and brought to the night circles. I was really hoping to get MacGyver into the Dragon Path, which she's still getting the belt, but I know she was hoping to get Master Dragon. So fun times. But and then honestly, Stillhead is I've had fun watching her grow. You know, she kicked me to the curb, but I still like watching her grow.
Oh, we're just gonna.
It was more like a running car, and you kind of opened the door. And
Oh, let's just air some laundry on the last episode, folks.
But no, she's really doing a lot of good things, and she's in the right place. She's going to keep going, and I like seeing that. And honestly, somebody that isn't as high up on that stool yet that I'm enjoying watching is Deverick. He is sticking his toe in everything he can, and all the travel he is doing is amazing. Yes.
Yeah, he's my roommate. Yes, he does stick his toes in everything he can. I just got shot with a Nerf dart.
Good job, Deverick.
I earned that apparently.
why does he have clean toes? He's in everything.
All right. For anyone who's been paying attention for 2 hours, which is how long we've been going, we've made it. We made it to the most difficult questions on KOK. The last time I'll have to say that, we're at the funny questions. And Azrael Jade, we have to start with you. This question is directed at you.
Oh my
Azrael
God.
Jade, how much did Kodiak have to pay you to come on KOK?
Kodiak didn't actually have to pay me to be on KOK. He probably actually flipped out when he saw that I actually responded that I would do this. And I did it because I'll tell you why I haven't done it, and that is because I'm not relevant. I am part of the history of this organization. Obviously, I'm relevant in that regard, but I am not relevant to current Amtgard. So I was encouraging you to look at people that were newer to the game and people that are actually playing Amtgard, which is why I had not done KOK. But relevant, obviously, I'm relevant to our kingdom. I mean, I'm the person who friggin' pushed the crown out the damn door for you guys. But shoved it out the door with some help from some other people here on this chat. But no, I saw it and I thought that, again, we talk about some of the allegations you have as a knight. I thought, well, this is something I could do. And again, paying attention to your burnout, I'm like, this is something I'm okay doing. I'm okay going on to this thing, and I'm going to try to get through the whole thing without crying. So we'll see. And I've done really well. I think I did it. I think I made it to the end without crying. Look at me.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because I
haven't heard some of the ridiculous funny questions he could ask you.
Also,
well, I was worried about murder tears and actually not like sad tears.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
that makes me angry.
No murder tears. But Azrael Jade, you do get the platform here for a minute, because I formulated my entire process of what it was going to be for me playing Amtgard around what you have done. You did an episode with Sir Baihu very early on in my Amtgard career where you're like, I didn't take a belt. I was an adult when I joined. I can do it on my own. And I turned down a belt shortly after that happened because of what you said on that chat. And I know the other 4 people in here have heard me say this before, but you may not be relevant in the sense of you play every week, but Kodiak the player, the person decided how to play Amtgard because of how you played Amtgard. So relevant all the time. As long as I exist, you exist.
Aw,
So
I'd make a heart, but it'd look kind of weird with my hand.
it's fine. All right. Corin Gray, who is our 99th episode, would like to know how many episodes of KOK have you watched, and why was the 99th episode the best? Let's go. It's Sir Randall. You haven't started one of these in a minute. Let's have you start.
Wow. I thought these are the funny questions. Are they the funny questions?
Dang. Okay. Well, not so much funny.
I would guess that I probably watched around, I don't know, are people watching these things?
Probably not.
No, seriously, I probably watched this is just our therapy session with Kodiak.
Yeah.
We're just talking, talking shit out, guys.
Yep, just gonna work it out. I would guess I've watched maybe 18 or 20 of them.
Sure.
I tuned in for the ones where I knew the person, or when I happened to be available on a Wednesday night. These days I'm working on Wednesday nights, or when I happen to be sober on a Wednesday night, and I would tune in for those. And as for why the 99th one is the best, it's the best because who was on it again?
Corin Gray.
Nice.
Corin Gray?
Yeah, Corin Gray.
Are there other Corins, or is he the only
There's other grays.
I mean,
other Grays?
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I would hope that you did it in German because of the 99 Luftballons song. Did you do that one in German? I didn't.
We didn't even reference the song, and you know how much I love referencing songs.
Did you reference having 99 problems?
That's the best song.
I believe we talked about 99 problems. Yeah.
Okay, but Corin Gray ain't one.
Yeah. Nope.
What about 99 bananas?
Haven't had that many bananas. Annabelle Lee.
99 beers.
Well, first of all, obviously that wasn't the best one because it wasn't mine.
Okay. Fair enough.
And at the beginning, I think I watched all of them for like the first 40. And then I think I fell off because I started having to do work again in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
So
I mean, girls, same. I stopped at 42. Xander.
Actually, maybe missed 30 of them. So I almost watched all of them. Not maybe like 40 or 50 live, and then the other ones I'd watch later.
Oh, Daddy. Oh, so. Ezra J.
that ain't right, bud.
I haven't watched too many. Amtgard's a little triggery for me, so I haven't watched a lot of them, but I've watched a few, and I think that the ones I've enjoyed every one I've watched.
Hey.
I did not watch number 99 though. I think the last one I watched live was Dallins, so we'll give him the kudos for maybe the best one because that was the last one I watched.
Okay. And Sir Francis.
So I've probably seen about 40 episodes. Work gets real crazy at times. Speaking from being in California, I think my favorite episode, and it's going to be kind of soul crushing for number 99. My favorite episode was the Smiley episode when the
Fundraiser got
good
built.
that came out of that was just fantastic. And how many people across the game got involved to see people lose facial hair, body hair.
Mm-hmm.
What was the total?
$2,500 went to St. Jude's because my internet kicked out during Sir Smiley's interview.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's my favorite episode.
That's a banger. They would say. The kids say that. They would say that's a banger. They don't say that.
You know that you're not a kid.
They don't say that. Well, I teach kids, but Sir Randall's telling me they don't say that. So I'm not as hip. All right.
I do
I mean,
on
I have a,
YouTube. I hear it on YouTube.
yeah. YouTube says banger, so we're probably right. All right, I'm gonna start addressing some of the funny questions to individuals, so we don't keep you guys here for 4 hours. Let's go with Xander. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Triceratops.
Triceratops. So Randall, what's the best kind of dragon?
Black.
Sir Francis, who's your favorite fictional knight?
Sir Gawain.
Azrael Jade, what's the best fictional or non-fictional sword name?
Bing,
Sing. Okay.
Bing.
Dame Annabelle Lee, will you buy a caricature from Stillhead?
Yes.
Stillhead is doing another fundraiser. Again, one of the reasons why Stillhead's amazing. She can't stop. All right, let's go back. So Randall, what's your favorite book of all time?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay. Sir Francis, do you play Magic the Gathering?
Kinda.
Very kind of.
Okay. What's your deck?
I like goblin decks or sliver decks.
He's oh,
Kinda.
Kinda. All right. I'm going to get everyone's opinion on this question because it's about me and the show isn't about me. So when it's about me on a show that isn't about me, I like to get my answer.
About me?
About me. Yeah. Is Kodiak more of a Jedi or a Sith? So Randall, why don't you answer that one first?
Son of a bitch.
Strong start.
I think Kodiak talks about being a gray Jedi, which is frankly completely ridiculous.
Okay.
I would say Jedi. I think that you're a good person, and I think that if people need help, you'll go help them and do the right thing.
Thank you. I appreciate the son of a bitch. It makes me feel good. Dame Annabelle Lee.
You can also call him a son of a bitch if you want.
Randall is right.
I've been hearing that for 22 years.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Xander,
It was
go
on
ahead.
It was on his Google bio for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I guess you'd be a Jedi, but
Mm.
since you're really, you keep bringing up gray, you'd probably be a Sith because you're really selfish about it.
Oh, that's fair.
Good point. I didn't think of
I
that.
could say Sith, bud.
Okay. All right. Azrael
Undercover
Jade.
Sith?
Azrael Jade.
Order of the Raven.
Okay. All right.
Is that there?
Sir Francis.
I would lean towards Ewok.
Ewok. Yes. Okay.
It is most. It is most bearish.
The one that catches on fire?
I'd like to change my answer.
Yep.
I
Ewok.
would like to change
All right. You know, this is the last time we get to do KOK, guys. If you say Ewok, it sticks.
Ewok.
You can go for Wookiee.
Ewok.
Second.
Wookiee almost makes more sense. I'm 12 feet tall.
What a Wookiee.
What a Wookiee.
What a Wookiee.
Yeah, but have you seen Chris dance? It's more like an Ewok.
Woo, boy.
Good point.
Fair enough. Okay.
New Orleans.
We do
He
have a
never
bunch
not has
of
a hood.
we do have a bunch of nerds here. Most of you have played Dungeons and Dragons at least once. What's your favorite race? And what's your favorite build? And is it Ranger that cannot track?
Are you calling me out? Like.
Wow.
Was it intentional? My Ranger could track. It just was not very good at it. Or am I just like reading into the situation too much? Is this like a thing that like other people do and it's not about me? I mean,
Nope.
Oh, no.
It's all-
I'm pretty
it's
sure
all
that's
dog.
not
Oh,
you.
that's
man.
kind of attacky, Chris.
The question.
Specific, bud.
The question only ever asks for D&D builds, but Azrael Jade was coming on, so definitely Kodiak added. And is it a Ranger that cannot track? Yes.
that's definitely my favorite build.
Okay, fair enough. Does anyone
She's currently playing a secret investigator who can't investigate. So
Oh, my God.
Accurate. Complete
Skill, I
sense.
took the skill.
Does anyone else have a favorite build they'd like to talk about that doesn't do the thing they're supposed to do?
I was a sorcerer once, but had shit intelligence.
Okay. All right. Sorcerers are
There
good
we
as
go.
enemies.
I could swing a sword and not heal myself.
Okay. All right. Okay. No, Amy, I'm sorry.
It's okay, Amy. We love you. Maybe not him, but we do.
Ooh.
I don't know why I haven't been on the show. This is why.
No, this is why. This is why. Yep, this is why. You give Kodiak an inch, he takes a yard. He's okay. All right. Okay. Sarandel, you're gonna get this one. The rest of you will get it. It'll be fine.
What is happening?
Being attacked.
We're gonna
Rolling,
get it.
rolling for an inside straight. Is it true as a time-honored strategy, or is it trash and just a Kodiak pet peeve?
That's drum dice, baby.
That's drum dice, baby. It's
That's
not.
Yahtzee.
Listen, if you roll for an inside straight, you are a Sith, and you should feel bad.
That is an opinion. You're right.
That is an
It
opinion.
isn't the right opinion, but it is an opinion.
So my favorite question is now here, and we're going to treat this as if you are the Tombstone. It's like Tombstone. You're walking down the road for the final stand. Amtgard is making a live action movie. Who is playing each of you? Sir Francis, we'll start with you.
Jesus.
Oh, I have no idea.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sullivan it is. Xander, who's playing you?
Oh, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hart. I'm digging this walk down. Ezra J.
Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton.
Nice.
Sir Randall.
Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald. All right.
Better.
All right. And Annabelle Lee.
Linda Carter.
Linda. Okay. All right. And as the five of you are walking down the street together, what is the theme song?
Man, it's gonna
Monkeys
definitely
on
be.
parade.
Oh wow.
gonna
Apparently,
say-
Sir Randall, that wasn't what you were gonna say.
I was gonna say
No.
Sandstorm. That'd be great.
Yeah. I was gonna guess because this is a kind of a big old Gen X crowd. It's got to be some sort of dork-ass butt rock, doesn't it? It's gonna be like some kind of Master of Puppets or something.
Dork ass punk rock. That's my puddle
Maybe
of mud
something
cover
from
band.
Ramones.
Oh God. Okay. All right. I didn't expect that, but we're in a different universe now. We've switched it. No one's making a movie, but everyone's getting superpowers. What are your guys' superpowers?
I know what Ben says. He drinks and knows things.
Ooh. I thought you said this was an alternate universe.
Just start spewing facts.
He also has a
but
great
drinking
beard.
Bourbon in your honor, Ben.
All right. So superpowers. Annabelle, what's your superpower? Is it freezing? No.
Probably.
Yes, asshole. No. Strength.
Strength. Sir Randall?
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Ezra J.
Is there a line to that song?
Yeah. I'll go for some gambit action, some kinetic energy.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Xander?
Healing.
Healing. And Sir Francis?
Whatever it is Deadpool's got.
Healing factor. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Okay.
wait. Can I ask,
Yes.
Xander, do you mean you heal like you regenerate or you heal other people?
Just healing.
Just heal.
Anything.
Just healing.
All of it.
All of it.
Like
He has a
minus
healing
his touch,
factor
but
and
the-
he heals.
But the point of my finger can heal anything.
That's a great answer. I love it.
Okay. Trigger warning coming. Guys, what is your favorite conspiracy? And what's your favorite Amtgard conspiracy? I really want to start with the one that it would probably trigger the most because it seems like the fun way to go about it. Ezreal Jade, what's your favorite conspiracy and what's your favorite Amtgard conspiracy?
I love all conspiracies, just so you guys know.
Fair.
Okay. I don't necessarily believe in any of them or all of them or some of them, but I love them all. They're great. I love them all. And if I get drunk enough, I'll tell you how I am involved in all these conspiracies too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm
Gotta get her drunk.
Amtgard conspiracies, on the more serious note. I mean, I don't have a favorite, but there's obviously the shadow government one, and I think you can't really talk about it though without talking about how you just become we're talking about superheroes and stuff like that. That the longer you're it's the meme, but we're all the bad guy in somebody's story, and that's just the way it is. It doesn't matter how good your intentions are. Or, I can assure you listeners out there, if there are any, I don't know, that we in Las Cruces did not want to keep this kingdom any longer than we had to. And I know that was this big thing. And, we just wanted to give a finished product to people. And it wasn't some grand conspiracy out there. Ruth and Dom were there we were the last group standing trying to push the Stardust out the door. I'm sure none of us were let's do this again tomorrow. I mean, it's just, I don't know. So, anyways, I'm not going to rant too much about it.
All right. I'm going to go from the person that would be most impacted, I thought, to the person who would care the least. Xander, your favorite conspiracy and your favorite Amtgard conspiracy.
My favorite conspiracy, because I get a kick out of every time somebody tries to defend it, is Flat Earth. Makes me laugh every time I hear anything about it. It's funnier than watching kids fall, I'm telling you what.
That's really funny, though.
It is really funny.
Right?
And my favorite Amtgard conspiracy is Ben's infinite belt line.
The infinite belt line.
Everyone's in his belt line, and he controls everyone. And it's hilarious.
It is hilarious. It is hilarious. We spoke about him. Let's move right to him. So, Randall, what's your favorite conspiracy, and what's your favorite Amtgard conspiracy?
Wow. So, favorite Amtgard conspiracies is pretty much none of them. I think that, notwithstanding how hilarious that one there was, and I think that's one of the maybe kinder ones, I think that every Amtgard conspiracy is just an excuse for people to be kind of crappy to each other.
Sure.
For dumb reasons. And I think that they shouldn't. I think that Amtgard has enough mean going on already, and people who are creating these conspiracy theories to be even meaner are just not doing us any favors. As far as conspiracies, though, I was going to say on a more serious note, but that was already pretty serious. I academically have a problem and personally have a problem with a lot of conspiracy theories, because I think that if you scratch the surface of any conspiracy theory more than a little bit, every single one of them eventually ends in anti-Semitism. Every single one of them is ultimately, and the Jews did it. And so I think that every conspiracy theory is problematic. So that said, I'll say chemtrails, because it makes Spike so mad whenever we say that chemtrails are real.
Oh man, a Spike reference in the last episode of KOK. Nice. I love it. I can't knock it.
I'm streets behind. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm gonna go now to Sir Randall's infinite belt line and go to Sir Francis.
Being part of Sir Randall's infinite belt line. My favorite conspiracy theories outside of Amtgard, it's all the alien stuff. I love it. Mm-hmm. I don't believe it, but God, I love it. Watching these clowns on TV just, makes my little heart happy. Yeah, exactly. I'm not a big fan of many Amtgard conspiracies anymore. It was funny at one point when a friend of mine explained what the Star Chamber was, which goes back to the shadow government. And the Star Chamber was supposedly a little bit more elite than that. And it was it was funny at the time, and I don't see it as funny anymore. It's hurtful. It's very hurtful to people. And just the derision that is thrown at those that they assume to be part of the shadow government or the Star Chamber. It's you're negating them as a person, and it's terrible. I'm not. I used to love some of the Amtgard conspiracy theories, but just as time goes on, good Lord, what a way to dehumanize somebody. It's I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, mood's real low right now. Annabelle, pick it up for us.
Well, living in Francis's household is a lifelong tale about freaking aliens. So that's probably my go on that one. But as far as Amtgard conspiracies go, I kind of agree that there's really not a great one because they're all kind of But I do love the way Kodiak dimed Randall out as being part of the shadow government.
Like he's trying to start.
Oh my God. Listen, when Muse and I are doing Gate at GOTC and Muse talks about the shadow government, and then next morning the Circle of Monarchs are meeting, and I can walk him over and go, Muse, do you want to see what the shadow government looks like? I've seen them. And I could just point, and he's like, oh my God. Yes, of course. Also, the rumors of me being Sir Randall's Shadow Squire to continue on the Shadow Government without him being active in the game and asking for him for permission. It's not as if Dom had anything to do with that being a reality of a conversation.
Honestly, you wouldn't be the worst squire that somebody fabricated to me.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the best backhanded compliment.
Yeah, right. Kodiak, you're doing great.
You're not the shittiest person somebody.
Well,
ever.
one of them is an actual real life war criminal, so you're doing pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Okay. I want to ask you guys about duck-sized horses and horse-sized ducks. I got to know which one you'd rather adopt and which one you'd rather fight. Would you rather adopt 100 horse-sized ducks or one duck-sized horse?
I know that Azrael has some strong opinions on ducks.
So Jade, how do you feel about ducks?
I really like ducks, but I mean, I also live in a pretty small. Like, where the fuck am I gonna put all these? Well, I guess it'd be horses if there was like a bunch of like. I mean, one like horse-sized duck would be pretty legit because ducks are kind of like friggin' mean as hell sometimes. So it'd be like a great like guard for your yard.
Okay.
Although it would take up my whole backyard, and then we couldn't have feasts in it anymore. It'd be like, guys, sorry, the duck's out there. I don't know. Yeah.
Then you could ride
But you
the
could let
duck.
your parents
I
eat
could-
the duck.
I could ride the duck. That'd be pretty bad. That'd be pretty rad, driving that duck around.
Sweet, saving on gas, man.
Safer than a car, probably. I don't really like cars anymore, so maybe
They can
that's-
like guide his fly, so you can
Yeah,
probably get
yeah,
there without even
yeah.
touching the ground.
It sounds like we have a consensus on this. I'm going to go ahead and just move on. I just want a thumbs up or thumbs down. I don't even want to hear you guys talk. That's where we're at on KOK right now. Thumbs up if yes, thumbs down if no. Should the king be able to wear Crocs? Dom, damn it, Dom. All right, thumbs up, thumbs down. Are birds real?
Realer than any of us.
Dom's just not gonna vote. He's like, nope, screw it.
So now we know the real conspiracy is Dom is in it with the birds.
No.
Dom is in on it with the birds.
Devrick,
Cahoots.
Devrick has got super close to me, which means it's time to ask the question of the household.
Is it like on the desk or?
It's in either, well, he's not under the desk, but man, it would be a different story if he was.
Where are his toes? Is the
His
question.
his toes are really, ow, he's shooting me.
With his toes?
His toes are really, really close, and he's shooting me in the neck with a Nerf gun. Okay, Circle of Knights of Dragonspine. I ask you the hardest question: Code Red or Baja Blast? Sir Francis, go ahead and lead us off. Thumbs down. Code Red or Baja Blast, Sir Francis? Neither. Okay. Xander.
Baja.
Annabelle.
If I have to pick one or the other, Code Red.
Woo! SOJ.
I don't think I've ever had either one of these. I'm their
Good
friends here. They both sound really awful.
Well, okay. SOJ, you don't have to be hurtful.
I mean, I guess maybe it's one of those things. Is this something that you drink if you're over 45?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Surrendel, there's a tie. Somehow with 5 people on here, there's a tie.
Oh, wow.
Code Red or Baja Blast, Surrendel?
Well, I'm here for my people, so I'll say Baja Blast.
Son
I
of-
will say this. If you drink Code Red, I would love to go to a restaurant with you so you can order one so that I can then yell at you and say, did you order the Code Red? That's what I want most out of this. I think we just lost your entire audience under the age of 25.
And that is the
No.
only right answer.
You can't handle the truth.
You're goddamn right, I did.
No, the meme has always been
Keep
Baja
banning this.
Blast.
In a
Devrick
total-
is now grinding on my lamp for excitement for the Baja Blast. When that's what you did, Surrendel. You did that.
Is the light turning on and off?
No, he somehow is keeping it on. Perpetual motion, I think.
Friction.
He can't handle the truth.
He can't. There's no truth to be had. All right, we're gonna do some either ors with a Circle of Knights. You just have to give me one or the other answers. Apple juice or orange juice? Let's start with Annabelle Lee.
Apple.
So Randall,
Oh, orange juice.
Ezra Jade,
Orange juice.
Xander.
Fermented apple juice.
You son of a bitch.
I would like to change my answer.
Francis.
Orange juice and vodka.
Oh,
All right,
I didn't
go-
think we could add to it.
Oh, you were supposed to be able to. It's supposed to be an either or. That's what these questions
You're
are.
an American. You can do what you want.
Sir Francis, hot dog. Is it a sandwich or a taco?
Taco.
Xander.
It's taco.
Ezra Jade.
Sandwich.
Sir Randall.
Sando. It's totally a sando.
Annabelle Lee.
Just because I know it annoys you, taco.
You should have just said hot dog.
All right,
So we've got a majority again.
it's a taco.
Oh, man.
Hey, what happens when the bread bakes? Then it becomes a
It
sandwich.
happens with tacos too. It's still
It's
a taco.
It's an evolving food.
It's a hard taco.
Negative.
That's
All
what
right.
It becomes a
Code Red.
gordita, is what it happens.
All right, thumbs up or thumbs down for me. Is gazpacho a dessert or a meal? Up if it's a dessert, down if it's a meal. Xander's not voting. Okay, fair enough. Okay, thumbs up for ice cream, thumbs down for custard.
Is it frozen custard or is it like, pudding?
Frozen custard.
Still ice cream.
And you don't get to vote.
Oh, sorry.
You
My
don't
bad.
get ice cream. You get bitter tears.
Bitter.
All right, thumbs up for waffles, thumbs down for pancakes.
I recently read a fantasy novel where they went to a tavern and they ordered waffles. It's like the Dark Ages, they're eating waffles. What's going on here? Anyway, pancakes, yes.
Pancakes. Thank you. All right, the Circle of Knights of Dragonspine. How much is too much to pay for breakfast?
It's only too much if you didn't eat it all.
I don't know. I would pay a lot for breakfast.
Mm,
Paid a lot for breakfast.
Same.
my favorite meal.
Sir Glenn said $300.
Wow. I bet Glenn has probably had a breakfast in his life that was worth $300. I'd not be
Makes sense,
surprised. Yeah. Or maybe close. Like he maybe has had like a $295 breakfast. He's like, that's about my limit.
Tips the last.
So are we at least in agreement that Sir Glenn is bougie?
Oh my
For
goodness.
sure.
At least.
Oh wow.
I thought that was a known.
I'm new to the game. I don't.
Have you ever seen
Not
him
that
strut
new.
down the field? Come on.
All right. Sir Francis, what's your favorite thing to add to a bowl of yogurt?
Oh, that's weird.
It's kind of a personal question, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my goddamn show. That's what I want.
Sorry. It's not about us. It's about you.
And I'm not a huge fan of yogurt. Let me caveat that. If we're making a side dish or a topping out of it, then it's got to be cucumber and garlic and olive oil.
Okay, so we're not talking about sweet yogurt at that point. All right, fair enough. Or are we talking about sweet yogurt? And do you need to get your head checked?
No, it's not sweet yogurt.
Okay.
It's Greek yogurt.
Okay, fantastic. Xander, favorite thing to add to a bowl of yogurt?
Nothing.
Nothing. Who does that? That's weird. Azrael Jade, favorite thing to add to a bowl of yogurt?
I don't think I've ever eaten a bowl of yogurt. Yogurt's gross.
I'm really disappointed.
It's gross.
I'm really disappointed in this circle of nights when it comes to yogurt. Sir Randall, favorite thing to add to a bowl of yogurt?
Plain yogurt's good for me.
Okay, basic. Okay, David. Favorite thing to add to a bowl of yogurt?
I feel like he was gonna say something after basic.
I stopped myself. David O'Billy, favorite thing to add to a bowl of yogurt?
Bananas.
Nuts.
All right, bananas. Thank you for having an actual answer. Final 5 questions. Thumbs up, yes. Thumbs down, no. Is oatmeal a soup? All right.
I could expand on that.
Please.
Okay, oatmeal is in the soupish family, but it's an actual pottage, which is its own type of food.
Francis, would you say is oatmeal a gazpacho?
I'm damn sure not eating it cold.
No, gazpacho is a cold soup. Oatmeal is either a soup or not a soup. It is not a soup or a gazpacho.
Could eat
It's a pottage.
It's a pot. Okay, fine. Okay. All right. Final 4 questions. Let's see if we could do this. Can someone please tell me what the square root of a bowl of oatmeal is?
Pie.
It would be
sadness.
sadness. 3.14 and sadness.
No, pie.
Yeah, an actual.
P-I-E
Fine.
is the square root of oatmeal.
Okay. Morgan would like to know, can you, with as much detail as possible, explain what the color of the letter F smells like? Azrael Jade, you is the first time answering this question.
Oh my God. I didn't sign up for this. Like, what does the color F smell like?
Yep.
Dirty socks?
Dirty socks. Yes, I have a confirmation dirty socks. Okay. Again, I'm asking the Dragonspine Circle of Knights these questions on the final episode of KOK. If you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why? Is it Freddie Mercury?
Ooh.
Sir Randall, you have opinions.
Working on being retired from having opinions. However, I would say that maybe the best thing about Kingdom of Kodiak being over is we don't have to listen to you besmirch Freddie Mercury any longer.
That's fair. That's fair.
It is- it is
Unfortunately, I've never besmirched Freddie Mercury. Only the band that is less good than he is, which is Queen.
If you were my squire, I'd fire you.
I think you're fired, bud.
I'm fired. Fired. I'm
Shadow fired.
But
Shadow
still
fired.
out of
Shadow
everybody
Here
else's
we-
belt line.
Annabelle, if you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why? Is it Freddie Mercury?
Well, Not that I don't like Freddie Mercury, but he would not be my first choice of someone I wanted to meet either.
Okay. Well, who would it be?
Who would it be?
Sure.
The Smurfs.
Yeah. On the ranking of people you want to hang out with, Freddie Mercury, the Smurfs, anyone else in Queen. Sir Francis, if you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why is Freddie Mercury?
So the reason it'd be Freddie Mercury is so he could introduce me to David May.
Ooh.
I assume David May is part of this subpar group called Queen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're getting late in the evening. I think we mean Dr. Brian May,
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
famed astronomer and
Yes.
fan of hedgehogs.
Astrophysicist.
I remember when Sir Randall came on KOK and how many Brian May photos I got in my Facebook chat from people just being like, "Oh, you son of a bitch." Oh, good. This is what I need in my life. Xander, if you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why? Is it Freddie Mercury?
It would not be Freddie Mercury.
Okay. Well,
It'd be fun, but it wouldn't be Freddie. It would be Rodney Dangerfield.
there we go. Okay. All right. And
Good answer.
Aswell Jade, if you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why? Is it Freddie Mercury?
Yeah, I would take Freddie Mercury. I mean, just to listen to the man sing, it'd be pretty legit.
Okay. All right. My last question. Let me catch my breath.
Don't cry.
So close.
Don't you do that. Aswell Jade, you're going to have to
Bye.
pay special attention since this is your first time on KOK. I will need your answer.
Oh, man.
If it takes a chicken and a half, a day and a half to lay an egg and a half, how long would it take a grasshopper with a wooden leg to kick the seed out of a dill pickle?
Five.
Oh,
I'll say 5.
5. Thank you so much. But
Well,
I just want to point out,
Good job.
Morgan, if I spend as much energy on answering or asking that question as I did on the heal spell, I could actually be a Paragon healer. Dragonspine Circle of Lights, thank you so much for coming on today. If you could just bear with me through some announcements, we'll say our goodbyes. Dragonspine, voting for where Endrain is going to be is open. There are 2 places, Glassforge Highland and Dragonspine, and it's very close. If you have an opinion on where it will be, please have your voice heard on the Kingdom page. We are going to be having 2 nightings at Endrain. Kenjin and MacGyver are both going to be brought to the night peerage. It's going to be a great time, a double nighting, and also 2 very close friends of mine. I cannot wait for that to happen. While we're getting to Endrain, award recs are up. I didn't keep Tajima up, but I definitely kept Stillhead up because I sent a whole bunch of award recs in last night, and apparently his dinger was on this phone. So Stillhead, I'm sorry. Yeah, his dinger. I said it. Okay. Since this is the last episode of KOK, I wanted to make a couple of personal announcements. For anyone who's stuck around this long and decided that they actually care, thank you so much. But I'm going to open my my belt of my noble title at this moment. So if anyone's interested in joining my belt line, please do so by reaching out to me and having a conversation. So Randall, drop your belt and we'll talk. I need a Shadow Squire. Also, I want to thank everyone who helped KOK get this far, from the first episode with Balder all the way through this episode with some of my closest friends who also happen to be knights. I appreciate you all. KOK, I did the research on this. KOK did 7,479 minutes and 27 seconds over 100 episodes. We had 12 different kingdoms represented in 100 episodes, and I'm super proud of that. I love every single person that came on. It was a blast, from the 36-minute episodes with Demix to the 3-hour episodes with Lancer, and the first episode to the last episode. But it's time. We got to get it over with. I need Wednesdays back so I can go make stuff. I'm trying to run for Kingdom Regent. I don't even sew that much. So, but yeah, it's been a blast. Anything from our Circle of Knights?
Swing by and I'll help you make your things.
Thank you.
Or show you how.
Sounds like Wednesday's fighter practice day now.
Oh, well. Yeah, that's what I need. All right. Well,
Thank you for
That's-
doing this. This is
Yeah,
that's
fantastic. This has been a wonderful thing. I think it's been very good when I was active, when I was not active. Perceptions very good for the kingdom. I think it's been wonderful seeing you do it and seeing you grow in your capacity as an interviewer. So thank you for doing it. It's been really wonderful.
I appreciate that. Everyone that's in the chat, I appreciate you guys. Lot of some of my favorite people are in the chat just saying how awesome this was. So let's not stick around on it.
Try after all.
No,
We get there.
no, I'm not going to do it.
Sure
Uh,
Nick,
until-
see you in the leg.
Until never again. This is the 100th episode of Kingdom of Kodiak. And I'm still Kodiak. Goodbye.